Welcome to Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. Your Real Money Talks host, Loral Langmeyer, gets straight to the point about what it actually takes to make money and build lasting wealth in today's changing economic climate. If you're ready to get the financial results you've always dreamed of, keep listening. Real Money Talks is the right place for you. And now here's your host, Loral Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Loral Langmeyer, and welcome back to Real Money Talks. So Real Money Talks is about great conversations about money, and this one is just an extraordinary conversation we're going to have today. It's about the Millionaire Maker system. You know, becoming a millionaire and making money, it's just a system. It's not like some hope or prayer, or maybe because somebody has a different personality or they were born in some bloodline, or, you know, they know more. Like people that have come from homeless have become millionaires. I grew up on a farm in Nebraska with no money conversation, became a millionaire. Many of you, it's just right around the corner for you. You just haven't been trained right, and you've already checked out of the game. So I wanted to just offer you a system, a 7-point system that you start setting up in your life to get ready to become a millionaire. And I do this in the form of a quiz when I'm on live stages, and I want you just to see, like, it's not pixie dust. It's not some random formula. How people have become millionaires or how they become millionaires for centuries. It's the same thing. You make money, you keep money, you invest money, and you do it with a team. So there's a system and a sequence, and the sequence is doing the right thing at the right time. That's going to get you to your millionaire status. And I promise you, you can do it in 3 to 5 years. You have to emotionally check back in and say, well, you know, it might be a little activity. Some people call that work. Yeah, it will be some activity. It's going to be different activity. That's what I want you to understand. What you're doing right now may or may not be working. But what I can promise you is most of my clients, they work way too hard for very little result. So let's get started. First of all, if you do not have my Millionaire Maker book, I'm going to give you a free ebook copy of it. So you need to go to askloral.com/podcast gifts. Podcast gifts. You're going to download it over there. You're going to give me your name, phone number, and email. I'm going to send it out to you. And I want you to read like the first few chapters. So I want you to understand what a gap analysis is. And then I want you to find the story in the profile. There's 7 families that I talk about in different profiles, what they've done to themselves financially. And so I need you to find the story that's most like yours. And then let's offer you a free gap analysis with one of my top strategists. And let's see where you really are. So right now, let's just go through the 7 points that are in every plan. So once you find your profile, there's a blueprint, an entire plan in the Millionaire Maker book that shows you how from where you are, you become a millionaire. And it's not the same sequence for everybody. Some of you are in debt. Some of you are lifestyle junkies. Some of you have what I call lazy assets. Some of you are not incorporated. You're overpaying taxes. So I'm not sure where you are. So you want to read the book, find the profile, look at the blueprint, get a call with us, and let's help you along your way. So here's the 7 things that are in every plan and really creates a millionaire system. So number 1 is your relationship to money. So in your relationship to money, like, is it a yes energy relationship? I call it, and I wrote the book, Yes Energy, where you say yes, you figure things out and you really sort through it. Or do you have some negative hesitation energy? Like, I got to think about it. You don't make, quick, decisive decisions. You kind of linger. And the lingering, just so you know, is because you don't know. So a lot of times when you don't know, you do nothing. So my goal is to get you educated, get you in this conversation properly about money so you can make smarter, faster decisions for you, your family, your life, your financial situation. So if you have yes energy around money, you are well on your way. If you were in a standing audience, I would have you sit down because you now flunked if you have no energy and no positive, optimistic conversations about money. So people with yes energy, they never say, I can't afford it. You can always afford anything you want. You just got to learn to make the money to have it. Number 2 is everybody knows where they are. They know what I call their starting point. Your P&Ls and balance sheets. Your income, expenses, cash flow. Your assets, liability, net worth. If you don't know where you are and you're in a standing audience, you would sit down. So check that off right now from where you're listening. And let's just be honest, that's a simple bookkeeping thing. And let's be honest even further. as a grown adult, if you are not very organized, there isn't going to be some magical day you're going to get up motivated to get organized. It just isn't going to happen. So you got to find a bookkeeper, somebody who can help you out. If you don't have any of these people that are available and really good and well trained, then again, at all times, go to askloral.com and just ask me a question, ask me for a resource, ask me whatever you need so I can support you on your journey to be a millionaire. The third thing in every millionaire plan is what I call Freedom Day. Now, this is where you have to describe, there's two conversations in the world. One conversation, the occupational conversation, is best led by like the likes of Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey and Dave Bach and your financial institutes. That's very occupational, which is live within your means, make sure you're out of debt, scrimp and save, get a job, maximize your 401k. If you need more money, get a second job. Like, that's just nonsense to me. I learned that formula early in my teens, and I thought, why would people do that? I didn't know how to do it differently. I just knew that whole conversation never made sense to me. Literally in my teens, I knew. Now, I didn't know that there was a different conversation until I was 17. I was given the book Think and Grow Rich. And I'm like, oh, these are my people. These are the yes energy people. These are the, burning desire people. These are, you get a gift and a talent and you maximize and capitalize on it. You serve other lives. Like, that's the entrepreneurial conversation, which is I'm going to make money. I'm going to expand my means. I'm going to serve a lot of people in the world through my gifts. And I'm going to become a millionaire. Like, it's a very different conversation. Like, we're okay that you use credit cards. In fact, financially in the world, welcome to 2017, you need credit cards. To not have credit cards and operate on credit cards is irresponsible, and it's 1960s. It's 2017, folks. So the old conversation, that occupational conversation, they'll refer to this word called retirement. And here's what retirement is by definition, is an agricultural word that means to put cattle to pasture to die. It's totally ridiculous, totally not what I'd ever advise. What I want you to do in our entrepreneur conversation, our wealth building conversation, is have a Freedom Day. So Freedom Day is based on monthly cash flow, because even when you're a millionaire, you got to have cash flow. So having a whole bunch of money in the bank that doesn't produce cash flow is interesting, but not helpful. So I want you to pick a number that you would be good with. Like, I know everybody has a big fantasy number, but for this year, let's just say we continue our journey in conversation through 2017 and you get serious, we work together, and you want 10,000 a month consistently, 20,000 a month consistently, 50,000 a month consistently. But when you get to 83,333 a month consistently, you'll have made $1 million. So about $4,160 a day is where you need to be thinking to make $1 million. So for some of you, you need to expand your capacity around your thinking and capability of making money. And I'm here to help you do it. So if you don't have a Freedom Day number, you would, again, in a live audience, have a seat. If you have one, just make one up now. Notice that for adults, I don't let you have anything less than 10, because 120 is like a minimum game starter if you're going to truly be an entrepreneur. You need, you live on part of it, and then you got to have enough money to hire web designers and accountants and sales support and, get books written and get product done. And there's things you got to do as an entrepreneur. And what I find most entrepreneurs, put that off. They don't become millionaires, right? You just spin round and round and round because you're trying to do everything and you aren't trained to do it, and you're not trained to do it well. So number 4, your relationship to debt. Your relationship to debt is not about bad debt. See, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Bad debt is what everyone's worried about. And honestly, the conversation about debt has become so contaminating for most people. And you have such a negative relationship to debt. And the truth is, I want you to thrive around debt. So good debt is debt that you can leverage. So in our 3 to 5 year millionaire plans, we were going to be asking you to leverage. So take out mortgages, use other people's money. If you have 100,000, for example, 200,000 to invest, that should go in 3, 4, 5 projects, not in one. So then as they appreciate and cash flow and grow within 3 to 5 years, you'll probably flip a few, go back into another project. So you're starting to get your money working for you in that cycle. Really critical. So if you're unwilling to leverage good debt, you would now have a seat or check off the box and say that doesn't really work. Now let me handle bad debt. When you get my Millionaire Maker book on page 194, I give you a debt plan. Very different way to get out of debt. One of the biggest mistakes I find with people, because your orientation to debt is so negative, is that when I show you how to make new money, I have programs that will guarantee you making new money all the time. But when I show you how to make new money, the biggest mistake my clients make is that they pay off debt. I need you to make money and grow, make money and grow, make money and grow. And then there's a system for you to pay down your minimums and then pay down, it's called power down your debt. You'll do it over time, but if you do it out of sequence, you won't get very far fast in this financial arrangement. And no one teaches this. It drives me crazy when I hear people say, oh, I got to go get out of debt. Then I'll go. No, you have really good money. Let's put it to work and grow it. Let's get 10% returns, 12% returns, 15% returns. Let's get returns that are available and not pay down debt, especially when you can get your debt down to, a 0% card for 6 months, 12 months. I mean, that's cheap money. So be really, really cautious and aware of that. Now let's go on to number 5, keep your money. So if you see in this sequence, in the plan, in the system, so you have a relationship to money, know where you are, you know where you're going, you have a great relationship to good debt. And then number 5 is you keep your money. And here's the simplest way I teach this. Companies make money, individuals get taxed. Companies make money, individuals get taxed. So if you are making money inside your personal bank account, not inside your company bank account because you don't have a company yet, I need to help you get one. There's something that you're doing. It's a hobby. It's a gift. It's a talent. You're being a sole proprietor. You're doing something, but companies make money. Individuals get taxed. In the United States, there's 73,000 pages of tax code. With Trump in office, we'll probably head up towards 100,000 pages of code. And when you use like TurboTax or H&R Block or some, simple simpleton formula, you might be using 10 to 13, maybe 23 pages of code, but you're not using all of the code that's legally available to you as a citizen of the United States. So if you're listening to this and you're from other parts of the world, that's why we highly endorse and support, for the right situations that you get a Nevada LLC. I have a conference center. You can use my building. You can use my address. We legally set it up. We structure it with leases and contracts. So it's all done properly for you. And then you get to minimize your tax burden and maximize your asset and liability protection. It is so important that companies make money and your individual, your individual quality of money. Like the worst kind of money is payroll money. W-2 payroll money is the worst quality. It's the highest tax kind of money. So another way to describe this is as you make money in a company, you get to make money, do all your deductions, and then pay tax on what's left. In the job way of making money, you make money, you're taxed to pieces, and then you get to live on what's left. So it's a choice right now for you to be a company. You say, well, what would I put a company around? Well, maybe you'll do real estate. Maybe you'll buy a gas and oil well. Maybe you'll buy a franchise, because I'm going to show you how to invest in alternative assets, which is number 6. Number 6 is your money needs to make money. So for many, many people, you have a strategy of paying down your house. And I'd say that's fine later in life, but not too soon, because why put all that money into really what becomes kind of a dead asset? Like, why would you have all your money parked in that home versus leverage? Like, it's only 3 or 4% money for a mortgage. It's not expensive. So why would you pay, the cost of money, 3% money when you can make 10%, 12%? There's all sorts of, promissory notes. There's hard money loans. There's all sorts of things you can do for a pretty easy 10, 12%. And then if you get more aggressive, there's a lot of real estate projects and businesses and gas and oil that are in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50%. So it's the cost of money. So if you're unwilling, right, or don't have a plan for a double-digit return portfolio, and if you don't know how, that's fine. I'm going to teach you. But if you have no plan for it, you are now out of a millionaire system. You have to learn how to invest. And then the last one is you got to do it with a team. So no one does any of this alone. I coined the phrase team-made millionaire. So I want you to be a team-made millionaire, use a team. Never in a lifetime could one human learn all of this. Like, I have a team of experts now I put together for nearly 20 years that are around me: real estate experts, gas and oil experts, tax experts, will and trust experts, you name it. And if you're standing in the middle of this conversation and you cannot with confidence have conversations about all these areas of money, I would question why you abdicate your responsibility of one of the most important areas of your life to a financial planner, a financial institute. You need to learn this. I'm passionate about my desire for you to learn this conversation, engage in the conversation, and change your life, because your life and your results will absolutely change when you learn this conversation. And that's what we do at Live Out Loud. We teach you these conversations. We teach you all these categories. When you go to the gifts page again to get your Millionaire Maker book, notice there's a conversation wheel. And in the wheel, you're in the center, and all sorts of conversations, and that's not the end, that's just the beginning of the wheel, are around that. So there's like spokes on a wheel, and you need to learn these conversations. If you don't, who's going to? Who's going to lead your family? Who's going to lead your wealth? Who's going to care enough about what are you doing and what your results are more than you. This is absolutely an essential skill and knowledge base that you need to acquire. So we want you in this conversation about money. If of the 7 things, I want you to kind of look back at the 7 things. And again, just to review them, your relationship to money, your starting point, your freedom day, your relationship to debt and willingness to leverage good debt, your keeping your money. If you don't have an entity, an LLC, a limited partnership, a C Corp, an S Corp, or just a corporation in the world, they're usually called partnerships or limited proprietary. But if you have no corporate structure, like that has got to get fixed right away. That would be a 911 in every category. Urgent. Because the real truth is if you want to make money, you do it inside of a company, period. There's no other conversation. There's no, well, you need to make some money. No, you don't. This is an intention to use some of the greatest tax benefits that you would you'd never want to live without. And then you got to get an investment strategy. Your money needs to make money, and you got to do it with a team. So those are the 7 things that are in a millionaire system. And our goal is to work with you 3 to 5 years. I mean, heck, most of you listening probably went to college for 4 years, and 82% of people that go to a higher, degreed university, myself included, are not using your degree. Now, I have a finance degree, but my finance degree was, grooming me to be a finance employee inside of a company, not this finance conversation, very different conversations. So in real integrity, I'd say I don't use what I went to school for. Right? I use some of the tools, but not really. And I got a master's degree in exercise physiology. I don't use that. So I gave, educational institutes, 6 years of my life to then realize that being an entrepreneur is, where the money is. It's where you learn it on the streets and you learn it side by side next to other great entrepreneurs who are making a lot of money. So I invite you to join this conversation, take control of the wheel of your life called finance, and let's get it going. So go to askloral.com/podcast gifts, get my Millionaire Maker book, enjoy it, find the story that's most like you and your family and your situation, and then sign up for a gap analysis. Everything you do through the askloral.com site is going to get right to me and my team, because I want to have an intimate, very personal conversation with you and help change your conversation in your household so your kids get financially literate too. So this has been Loral Langmeyer. We're at Real Money Talks podcast. Excited to continue this conversation. The next one up will be never pay your kids an allowance. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining Loral for this segment of Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. To continue this new conversation and to find free resources to support your wealth creation, visit askloral.com/podcast gifts. That's askloral.com/podcast gifts. Thanks for listening and join us again soon. New episodes are released every week.